What's going on, fam? It's your boy KP. I'm back with another video. All praise and credit due to the Most High God and His Son, Yeshua HaMashiach. Let's see. This video is going to be called How I Stopped and Overcame Spiritual Attacks. So let's get into it. What is a spiritual attack? A spiritual attack is when you're being attacked in the astral realm. I realize for most people, this is going to come in the form of dreams, nightmares. It's also going to come in the form of just your spirit being beat down and you not being able to put your finger exactly on why you're feeling a certain way, or when you get around certain people, your energy is just drained. And, just like the Bible says, be aware, you never know when you're entertaining angels unaware. Man, the fallen angels are here. And really, a fallen angel is nothing more than a demon with authority. Satan counterfeits and copies everything the Most High God does. So when you meet a fallen angel, that's just a full-grown demon who has encountered Satan, got punked out, and Satan has given them a new name. All right. So one thing about how I overcame spiritual attacks. If you think about the 10 Commandments, which are given to us, at first they were written in the New Covenant. They were written on the heart through a circumcision being the removal of lies. When God anoints you, gives you His Spirit. One thing I want you to keep in mind, you have to start reading the Bible a different way. Read it from a point of what's common and find the common thread throughout the Bible, and that will lead you for truth. If you're looking for comfort all the time, you're never going to get to the truth. But if you're looking for the truth, you may find comfort in it. So I want you to think about this. If you think about the commandments, I'll name a few of them. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, commit adultery, things like that. But the hard one that most people, I realized, and I didn't know myself until I prayed on it, and Most High gave me the answer, was remember my Sabbath and keep it holy. And we have been given another calendar to go off of, and it's Satan's calendar. It was Julian calendar, Gregorian calendar. But if you are being under spiritual attack, I'm going to give you some things, and I want you to read and research another way if something is ringing in your spirit. If this what I talk about doesn't ring in your spirit, ignore me, turn me off, and go along your way. I know the naysayers and Satan's minions that are tasked, and they have to keep up with me, and you have to watch my videos and comment, and it's always something negative. If you have a better option, then make videos of your own. Be sure to show your face. And if you have a better message, give it. Because if you really have the truth and you're not giving that truth to help others, you're placing a stumbling block in front of the children of Israel and keeping them from salvation. So I just want to make sure I tell you low-level demons and Satanists that are tasked. Before you comment, if you can cook better, just cook better and present it to the people. I'm not shy. If you got a nice dish, I'll eat from it too. So the Sabbath, I'll give you one scripture, Ezekiel 46:1. It talks about when the gates are open, and the gates are open is when you can have direct contact with God, communication with God. It talks about 3 types of days: the new moon days, the Sabbath days, and then there's 6 work days. So it's telling you there's 3 types of days right there. So look in the Bible and use Satan's devices. Use Google and research like this. Type 8th day KJV, and you're going to come up with a list. Read everything in the Bible that talks about the 8th day. Google 15th day and KJV and read everything about the 15th day. Also with the 22nd day and the 29th day. Those are the Sabbaths. They're always the same. They're the 8th, the 15th, the 22nd, and the 29th. And then the holy days, which are things we should celebrate, were always attached to movements of God and when He did a great work or great miracle in the with the children of Israel. So look at the Old Testament, New Testament. Type this one in. You can type in the 14th day Passover, KJV. Passover is always the 14th. In Exodus with Moses, the Passover was the 14th. And if you look in the New Testament, in the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the Passover was the 14th, the Sabbath was the 15th, and Jesus rose the day after the Sabbath, 14th, 15th, 16th. The first day of the month is the new moon. Are you with me? There's the new moon day, which is the first, 6 working days, and then the Sabbath. The first Sabbath's the 8th. It wasn't until I learned how to keep the correct Sabbath that it stopped the spiritual attacks. And, there's a couple websites. If you want to learn how to keep the correct Sabbath, go to Truth of Yahweh. It'll tell you, but it's based off of the sighting of the new moon. And some months there's 1 new moon day. Some months there's 2 new moon days. And then it goes 6 work days, then Sabbath. 6 work days, Sabbath. 6 work days, Sabbath. 6 work days, Sabbath. The 8th, the 15th, 22nd, and 29th. The reason why I'm being repetitive with this is because when you look through the Bible and do those Google searches the way that I told you, on the 8th day, KJB, and search everything on the 8th day, the 8th day, the 15th day, the 22nd day, and the 29th day of the month being based off of the new moon, those are always the Sabbath days in the Bible. Whenever Jesus or Moses went to the mountain and it was transformed, it was always on a Sabbath day. But they're not gonna, every time it doesn't say Sabbath day, it'll say like 8th day, 14th day, things like that. You can also Google on how to keep the Sabbath, and you're going to have some of the same questions I have. Well, we live in this world, Satan's the god of this world, and he's gave us this other calendar, and I have to work. The Sabbath falls on a different day every month. This month it may be Friday, like this month it is Friday. And next month it may be on a Thursday or a Wednesday. But the key is the Most High God knows you are living in Satan's world. And just like it says in Hosea 4:6, my people perish for a lack of knowledge. It's when you gain this knowledge and you're doing everything you can to keep the commandments, he's going to bless you. And the only, when you keep the Sabbath, it's really about, the major ones about no buying and selling and no lighting fire. You know what I mean? That means like not cooking. So on the day before the Sabbath, you can do things like just gather your food and this, that, and the other, and make it a point not to buy and sell or anything. You still may have to go to work, and that may be the only one you violate the Sabbath on, but the Most High God knows that, and he's going to start seeing your obedience to wanting to keep his Sabbath, and he's going to make a way. You may, work may be shut down that day, but you're going to see him start to move in your life the more you abide in his laws. So for me, when I started to keep the Sabbath, it was really something simple, like making sure I had gas in my car the day prior and making sure I wasn't going to stop and get coffee that morning and buy coffee, just make coffee at home and keep that for your drive. But when I started to keep the Sabbath, I noticed some things in the spiritual realm. The attacks stopped, but I still had access to the spiritual realm. I became a person with one of the 7 spirits of God, but I now had authority in the realm because I was making a conscious effort to keep his law. So I really want to hit that home with you guys. If you are experiencing spiritual attacks and you need them to stop, You're probably following all the other commandments. You're probably not out killing people. You're probably not banging your neighbor's wife. You're probably not stealing. You probably don't have any gods above God or things like that. But you're definitely not keeping the Sabbath. If you're going to church on a Saturday, if you're Seventh-day Adventist, or you're going to church on Sunday, if you're a Protestant or whatever you want to call it, you're not keeping the correct Sabbath. So try doing that. Another point I want to hit on is, when Jesus talked, he talked about, if Satan's kingdom is divided, how can it stand? And if you think metaphorically, like I'm picturing it in my head right now, the statue that Daniel saw, or that told King Nebuchadnezzar when he had that dream about the statue, and the prophet Daniel came and told him what the dream meant. It had a head of gold, it had a chest and arms of silver, then it had thighs of brass, legs of iron, and then feet of iron and clay. Man, those are the kingdoms of Babylon. And the first kingdom was Babylon, which the head of gold. The second kingdom was Medo-Persia, which is the arms and the chest of silver. The third kingdom was the thighs of bronze. Then the fourth kingdom, the third kingdom was Greece, and the fourth kingdom, the legs of iron, was Rome. But that fourth kingdom has been divided, and the division is of pagan Rome mixed in with Protestant Christianity. So that's what gives you the feet of iron and clay. The clay being Christianity. Remember everything about God and look for what's common. He formed man out of clay and then breathed his life into him. So we are living in that kingdom right now where Christianity is nothing more. That word's not even in the Bible. I don't even like that word. But we are living in the era of Christianity, which is paganism mixed with the teachings of Christ. And that is why you see the Pope trying to unite everything, all the Protestants under him, and you see the big mega churches like Joel Osteen and T.D. Jakes falling in line with the Pope. Satan's trying to unite his kingdom because it's really divided right now, man, and it's not going to stand. And you will gain your strength over these spiritual attacks by adhering to the laws of the Most High God, man. The Sabbath was key. I haven't had spiritual attacks in probably like 5 or 6 weeks. Do I still see demons in the flesh? Yes, constantly. Do I still see the astral realm? Yes. But on the Sabbath days, keeping the correct Sabbath is when the communication with God and the spirit of prophecy really falls among me, and I have spiritual authority in that realm. And it's not just victory here, victory there. Spiritual authority is you become a king of a king in the spiritual realms. It's funny. It's if any of you guys ever seen the spiritual realm and you're a child of God, you are full of light, and there is demons and fallen angels everywhere. But they now move out the way when I move through. And that's truly amazing. Since I started keeping the Sabbath, this happened to me last week. I was able to tell someone the dream they had and the meaning of it. And I am still blown away, completely blown away at that experience. But I hope that's helped you, man. Remember, look it up for yourself. New moon days, the Sabbath's on the 8th, 15th, 22nd, and 29th in the Bible. Learn how to keep the Sabbath, and it's going to do wonders for your spiritual attacks. Until next time, stay equipped in the full armor, covered with the blood, filled with the Spirit, in the name of the Son, the power of the true living God. I am KP, and until next time, stay blessed. Bye-bye.